So today I am doing a video on the most important subject that there is to understand. And once you understand this subject, you will have a paradigm shift. And it will be from mental to physical, or from physical to mental. Understanding that reality is mental and not physical, and that being the prime tenet to illumination is understanding it is mind that creates matter. And that can be done by understanding the grand unified theory of everything, which the enlightened ones have already figured out, and which science is still trying to figure out, and they will continue to try to figure out, but they will actually never reach it because they don't acknowledge the mental and the immaterial and what you can't observe, which is a completely objective reality. And the truth is that reality is subjective. And that's actually what ontological mathematics and illumination include in its understanding of the nature of reality. So today I'm doing a class on is it all about subjectivity or objectivity? And really starting to, because even right now as things are changing, as the awakening is happening, people are starting to say things like the mathematician Henry Weinstein is even saying, it's the end of physics. And that's definitely true, because physics is based on science, and science is only acknowledges what can be seen, which is empiricism. Empirical materialism is what science is. And what's happening as disclosure is happening, because the real disclosure is not aliens and UFOs and all these things. It's actually the nature of reality, like what reality is made of, what everything is made of. And it is mind, it is mental, and because this is the highest secret of the mystery schools is that reality is a dream, and you are basically a monad that is outside of time and space. This is where your soul is located, in a realm outside of time and space that is dimensionless, immaterial, it's the realm of mind. It's called Omega World, and it's we experience it in the unconscious, and that is more just as real as the conscious world. These are the two realms that make up reality in the sixth dimensional cosmology of what the universe is. That's what the Illuminati have already figured out through understanding concepts like the principle of sufficient reason and Occam's razor. So understanding this cosmology is important, because it gets you to see the two realms, which is a double-headed phoenix, which indicates that you are a dual nature being, like matter and mind. physical, non-physical, dimensionless, dimensional. This is what being multidimensional is. It's just actually, you're a dual nature being, and this is the key to understanding, the kingdom of heaven, and that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Because when you understand that there's an inside reality and an outside of reality, that opens your whole world up, and the metaphysical and the physical. There's a metaphysical, physical, inside, outside, dimensional, dimensionless, subjective, objective, mental, physical. Like, reality is dual natured. It's not just physical. It's actually made from the mind. And that's what the Illuminati have endeavored to do through their great work, is explain everything. So today I'm just explaining subjective and objective reality, because when you go to sleep every night, you are experiencing your subjective reality, your inner world. When you wake up to objective reality, which is the shared dream. And this confronts the central metaphysical question: is reality fundamentally mental or physical? Okay, so this is the big question, and it's taken me 40 years of my life to really understand this, even though I kind of always knew it. It's like, mind over matter and stuff, but that really, I didn't really realize that was really real until I found the Illuminati, who explained that it is mind that's primary to matter, unlike science that says it's matter that makes up mind. And so they're saying it's it's objects that create subjects instead of subjects creating objects, which that is what it is. Your mind creates the objects in your reality, not the other way around. And then, like, once you know that's like definitely a huge revelation, though, because you're like, I am forming, from the world of forms, which Plato calls the world of forms. I am forming a thought into material reality, and that is what happens with the transmission from the world of mind into the world of matter. It's actually through a Fourier transform, which is how the dimensionless turns into the dimensional, and through what is called a sinusoidal wave, which is what a thought is. A thought is a sinusoidal wave that emits from the frequency domain, where our soul and mind is located, and into the material dimensional domain of form and matter. And we actually, through the spirit, you definitely call it the Holy Spirit, because it is the ghost in the machine. We inhabit these bodies from that realm, and we pilot these things around like drones. The suit, the body, is piloted like a drone, and even the Illuminati talked about that. Like, you are piloting this body from another realm that you actually experience, that you're actually linked to, and you're not just flesh and blood. Like, you are actually existing in another realm. That's called the Omega world, and you experience it in your dreams. So if you've ever had a dream, which everybody has, you have automatically refuted scientific materialism, and you have experienced what is called mathematical idealism, because all things are numbers and all things are actually math too. Everything's made of math. Even matter is made of math. It's not just everything's matter, because going back to the Big Bang, it just didn't happen for no reason, which is what science basically says. The rabbit out of the hat, that it just randomly happened and that it came from nothing. But what the Illuminati have actually explained is nothing is actually something, and zero is actually something too, because what science hasn't done is they haven't included zero and infinity, those numbers, in their mathematical equations and formulations. They leave zero infinity out, and so they're only getting objective material reality, which isn't what everything is. And with the inclusion of zero infinity into science, which would then incorporate psychophysics, which is what's coming next, because mind is primary. Including zero and infinity allows you to have the imaginary realm, or the imaginary dimension, which is the world of mind and matter, and that coincides with the world with the physical world. And through Euler's formula, which is the God equation, which includes the imaginary and the real into the equation, which it's E is exponential growth, I pi equals 0, plus 1 equals 0. And 1 equals unity, 0 is actually what it represents is I forgot what 0 represents in that equation, but I will definitely see that, because EI pi, the Euler's formula, is the God equation, and it is what all this information is coming from, and it is what proves God's existence. So if you want to go explaining the existence of God to a scientist, you don't go armed with a holy book. You go armed with the science of the soul, or soul science, which is what the Illuminati have. Along with the Grail, along with the Philosopher's Stone, along with the Kingdom of Heaven. I found God fully through actually finding the Illuminati, and became enlightened. So, beginning with Descartes, distinction between unextended thinking subjects, which is subjectivity, and extended unthinking substance, which is objectivity. This text critiques science for eliminating subjectivity altogether and treating the observer as if it did not exist. Philosophical idealists conversely denied that matter could exist in itself, holding that it was only ever an idea. So that just basically explains how science is eliminating subjectivity altogether by treating the observer as it doesn't exist. And Descartes is Rene Descartes was a philosopher who is credited with separating mind and matter through res extensa and res cognita, and came up with Cartesian dualism. And the problem throughout since that time when he made that has always been to resolve it and then link mind and matter together, which has always been what's been going on with the war for understanding consciousness. which the elite already actually know this. They just kind of leave the masses to figure out for themselves what they already know. So, Descartes, solving Cartesian dualism is what illumination does. It is what ontological mathematics does. It is what the grand unified theory of everything does. And it links omega with alpha. It explains unconsciousness and conscious realms. And it unifies mind and matter. And so Leibniz advanced the conversation by rejecting dualism and introducing monads, dimensionless thinking substances containing the information necessary to project the illusion of an external material world. Ontological mathematics radicalizes this further by mathematizing the monads as sinusoidal functions, showing precisely how they generate both subjective experiences and the objective cosmos. Science, the essay argues, is incapable of addressing this because it ignores subjectivity, focusing only on objects and appearances, thereby excluding the observer entirely. So, Leibniz, Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, was an Illuminatist. He was in the Pythagorean Illuminati. He was one of the Grand Masters. He actually wrote in Monadology about the monad, about the mind, and rejected dualism and said that it was the mind that actually projected the illusory world that we see around us, which is actually what the truth is. And, it is producing the hologram that we think is physical and real, but it's not. This is like leads to psychophysics. And, all these books, all these things that I'm talking about are all part of the books that the Illuminati wrote. Because they understand that this is what we're going to be, the understanding that we're going to be coming through dialectical evolution. And being trapped in the world of matter, being trapped like in the physical flesh and blood, like you can be liberated and free from that once you understand that you are not your body, that you're a spirit and your soul, and that actually frees you from the demiurge's prison of flesh. And the demiurge actually, which is the false god of this world that's keeping control of it through the three-body problem, which is the Abrahamic religions, democracy, and our free market Zionist capitalism, is not giving out the correct education, because the secret of freedom lies in educating the people, whereas the secret of tyranny lies in leaving them ignorant, which is what Maximilien Robespierre said, who was another Illuminatist, someone that was in the Illuminati, that said that. And as you can see, the real history of the true enlightened ones is way more in depth and rich and full of power and enlightenment and liberation than the false reality, that the false conception and stuff that's been created around the enlightened ones. And that's happened for a reason, because they don't want you to find your way to the enlightened ones, which I did. And so that's why it is my mission to use the Grail, to heal the wasteland. And those that are Grail Knights will understand what I'm saying, because they will understand Parsifal, which is definitely one of the keys to understanding the Holy Grail, which the Illuminati are the guardians of. So, this critique extends into physics. Newtonian mechanics, relativity, and quantum mechanics all depend on subjects for interpretation, yet their frameworks erase subjectivity. Science's promise that one day it will explain consciousness as a byproduct of matter is dismissed as a category error. Instead, the essay suggests that the machine and the ghost, materialism, is the true error. Reality is mental projection, not physical substrate. So this is just truth. Like, this is truth coming out of my mouth. This is truth coming out of my soul. This is like the most important information that there is to understand right now. And that is what the Illuminati done. They are able to link general relativity with quantum mechanics, which is what science is still trying to do right now. And through like their different theories, like M theory, which is a whole thing about 11 dimensions and all these like complicated things and stuff, which is in violation of Occam's razor. They're still trying to reach the grand unified theory of everything, which the Illuminati have already done. And science is always like, oh, we'll reach it someday, we're going to reach the grand unified theory of everything. But they're never going to do that, because they're going to completely stay in objective scientific materialism instead of adopting mathematical idealism, which is the true nature of reality, which does lead way to ontological mathematics and the grand unified theory of everything. So, so this is like, thus reality is not neutral, purposeless material system but a striving, rational, mathematical intelligence. Subjectivity is conserved energy, transformed but never destroyed, grounding continuity beyond physical death. In this view, each person is a divine monad undergoing involution, descent into limitation, and evolution, return to godhood, mirroring Hegel's dialectic. Science, by denying subjectivity, misses reality itself, confusing appearances for essence. The conclusion is stark. Science is a religion of empiricism, but only ontological mathematics provides a complete, coherent, rational account of existence. So, this is saying that, reality it's not the machine and the ghost. It's the ghost and the machine. There is the Holy Spirit. My soul, my mind, my spirit is in this body. Making it do it. Like I'm unconsciously operating right now. I'm consciously operating. But the thing is the more you do something, the more into the unconscious you go. Like how sports players, they do training and stuff, and then actually learn this from the Illuminati. Like when they're actually performing at their top level, they're totally unconsciously performing, and that's the flow state. And so the purpose of life is just to be in the flow state. It's just to make the unconscious conscious. And this is saying that it's not purposeless material system, which is what science says it is. It's a machine, solely based on just on matter. But it is a system that's striving, rational, and mathematical, and intelligent. And this does lead to like teleology, which means there's purpose and meaning in a system. Like there's an end point. There's something that we're going to, which is the omega point. That Pierre del Chardin was the one who created that. He was a Jesuit priest, but he was definitely onto how the universe worked through the understanding of what the omega point is, because the Illuminati wrote a book about it. But that's what happened. The Big Bang happened. It did happen out of from nothing, but it is something. A singularity is what it came from, and matter came out, and then it's going back to the omega point, back to the singularity again, and that this is happening infinitely throughout time. So and then black holes is something that they explain too. The Illuminati explain what black holes are, but I guess I'll leave that for next video, because I don't want to go into that, because I'm explaining subjective and objective reality right now. So subjectivity is conserved energy, transformed but never destroyed, grounding continuity beyond physical death. In this view, each person is a divine monad, a divine mind creating their experience, like the holodeck on Star Trek. And we are going into involution, which is the descent into limitation, back up into evolution again, which is the return to godhood, creation. You're creating, you're one with God. You return to the one. You're co-creating reality, and you're aware that you're doing it. Things aren't just happening to you randomly. You're experiencing the reason, the PSR, the principle of sufficient reason. Everything has a reason, and you are the reason that everything is happening the way it is. Basically, science is a religion of empiricism that just strictly stays on the physical, dimensional, objective, observable reality, while ontological mathematics is what provides the complete, coherent, rational account of existence, which includes the mind, which explains the six-dimensional cosmos, as above, so below. And it does complete the understanding of the nature of reality and how things work. And that is what is going to be the key for the liberation of humanity. Because these teachings, the Illuminati say in the future, the university are going to replace what's taught in the universities. Because right now, the old world order is, definitely going down, but the new world order is going to be what replaces that. And that's also part of the Armageddon conspiracy too, is that the new world order is what the elite are, doing this globalization, Orwellian dystopia, slave society, monitor surveillance. That's the new world order. Well, that's not new, because that's been being implemented on us since the beginning, and the elite have always been implementing this on us, like in the Roman times and the times of Leibniz, all like the whole time. And that's what that's what is big about this time, is that this is this is the last time it's going to be like this. And a new world order is a new context of existence, a new religious, political, and economic paradigm, which is what the future holds for this world, which is what the elite don't want the people to know, because the elite don't want the people to know that there's a better way of running the world, which it's very clear now that the way that we run the world now has failed, and it's time for meritocracy to replace democracy. That's going to be the answer to the problem, especially in the United States. So, all right, that's another subject. So, till next time.